Hello, I'm Mara Maxwell from FruitNet Media International, and I'm here with Jackie Turner, who is the director of a new film, Bananageddon, which seeks to uncover the unpalatable truth about banana industry. So welcome, Jackie. Tell us firstly all about the new film, how it came about, and why you're involved in this project.
So this film came about, actually, it was originally a student film. So my teammates and I actually met while we were graduate students at Imperial College London. And we're all scientists, we're all really inquisitive minds, and I had done my undergraduate thesis on bananas, and I kind of told my teammates, I was like, hey, did you know that there's only one banana that we eat? Wouldn't it be cool if there were more? And everyone just sort of like sunk their teeth into this story, and we just sort of ran with it. We ended up winning a grant and going to Costa Rica, and the deeper we got, I think the more everyone kind of got pulled into the rabbit hole of this story. And so we've been working on this film for 3 years now, and it's just been this journey of learning a lot about the way the industry is structured and the people who are trying to change that system.
And what surprised you the most about what you uncovered along your journey?
I think the complexity of the banana supply chain is something that is really hard for consumers to wrap your heads around, because you just see a banana in the grocery store and you're like, oh, it's perfect, it's yellow, and there's no bruises on it, and how wonderful. But really, there's been a lot of things that banana has gone through. It's been picked by hand, and it's grown in this tropical environment, and then it has to be washed and shipped thousands of miles. And so one of the goals of the film is just to try and highlight that process for other people who wouldn't necessarily get to see it.
Because, I mean, this is one of the big issues, bananas. People have got used to eating and buying cheap bananas, and there's so much behind actually getting that banana from the plantation to the supermarket shelf, and consumers really just don't appreciate that.
Exactly, and that's one of the things that we're trying to do with this film, is explain to consumers that the fruit that we expect to pay so little for is actually, it's a tropical fruit that has a huge history. And so some of the things we're pushing for are maybe consumers are willing to pay more money for different varieties or for different products that would help support a more robust banana industry. Because right now, bananas are under threat from climate change and also a very serious disease called tropical race 4 that so far there is no cure for it. And it's not a disease that affects the health of the food or the taste of the food, but it's a disease that affects the banana plant itself and makes it very difficult to grow and very expensive. And so we'd like to sort of remedy that disaster before it happens.
Absolutely, and as you said, tropical TR4, tropical race 4, arrived in Colombia last year. Latin America very much the kind of heart of the global banana export industry, especially supplying markets like Europe and the US. And banana as a monoculture faces a very, very real threat of commercial extinction. So I think one of the messages that you're trying to get across very strongly is that the current banana industry as it stands is just not sustainable.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, the way that we grow bananas right now is just, it doesn't take into account in most cases the health of the soil or the biodiversity. Bananas, the way they're grown now, have a huge implication as far as the health of workers and the health of the environment. And so, in some ways, we're trying to look at TR4, even though it's been a disaster in many countries. We're trying to look at TR4 as an opportunity. How can producers, how can retailers, help create an industry? Or how can consumers inspire them to create a more robust industry that has, or a more resilient industry that has more variety and maybe higher prices, but consumers really understand the value of this produce, because right now it's considered they're just bananas, they're just what you see every day, and we want consumers to really question how it got on the shelf.
Absolutely. And Jenny, you were with me yesterday at the FruitNet World of Fresh Ideas, where we heard some very interesting trials that are being carried out into trying to combat TR4 through sustainable methods like promoting biodiversity in the soil, encouraging the growth of good fungi. And it seems to me that is very much where the answer to this lies.
Yeah, there's a lot of research being done trying to make soil health a bigger part of banana growing. There are some varieties that have come to the forefront as potential contenders to replace the variety that we usually eat, which is called Cavendish. But right now, there's no clear leader. We talk to a lot of researchers, and so we do know our stuff. That there isn't a clear front runner for replacing in Cavendish. It's not like we're going to wake up one day and have a new banana variety, and that's just going to be the end of the story. We have to think about what happens if TR5 comes or TR6. There's going to be another disease, and so really, what needs to happen, more than just putting better fertilizer in the ground or having a new variety, is we need to have a better system that incorporates multiple varieties and incorporates maybe intercropping systems or something that really changes the system. Yeah.
And the reason we need to do that is not just so you and I can enjoy our bananas and buy them at the supermarket, but because they sustain an entire food system, and hundreds of thousands of people rely on them.
Yeah, I would say probably millions. There's lots of studies that talk about this isn't just about the bananas in the grocery store. That food security is a huge part of bananas. Lots of people rely on them not just as an export item, but as their primary nutrition. There's a type of banana in Ethiopia that feeds 20 million people. That's their primary source of nutrition. And so when you talk about the big disease like this, it's not just threatening a commercial product that we could all live without tomorrow. It's about people who actually, this is what they depend on for their livelihoods. So yeah, it's very important.
Absolutely. And when can we expect this film to come out, Jessica?
We're hoping that we'll be able to wrap up production by the end of 2020. So keep your fingers crossed for us.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Jenny Taylor. And watch this space. The film will be out soon. Thank you.